Hey guys, welcome back to Arcane Assist. This week we're featuring Scorn and Legion. This is a list I've wanted to show off for a long time. I am about to play it / maybe already have played this at War Machine Weekend by the time this video comes out. I think the release schedule has this 2 weeks after War Machine Weekend, and either this went really well and you've seen this already, or it didn't and we're here now. So, Craig, you're playing Fyanna.
Yes.
And I am playing Mordikaar. I'll let you go through your list first, just because you have more to talk about than I do.
Right. So my list is in the new Ravens of War theme force. So it's changed slightly to allow Merc options as well as now the Hellmouth is available in Ravens of War. So what I've taken so far is a Seraph, 2 Nerfs, a Naga Night Lurker, 2 Strider Deathstalkers, a unit of Strider Rangers, a minimum unit of Grotesque Raiders, 2 Hellmouths, a Spell Martyr, 2 Forsakens, and a Grotesque Assassin, and a Sorkon Hellion, and a Swamp Gobber Chef. So basically the idea here is I have a lot of presence, I can kill a lot of infantry. At that point, if they have no infantry, then I can just have my def 15 to 18 Striders hang out in a zone all game. This doesn't lose on scenario pretty fairly easily because I have a lot of units for a lot of staying power because Hellmouths are units.
Cool. So my list. My list is an Imperial Warhost, and it's with Mordikaar and his battle group of 9 Archidons, 3 Kreas that are free, and I have a Mortarthurge Willbreaker and 2 minimum units of Beast Handlers.
9 Archidon seems strange.
Yeah, or it doesn't at this point. Who knows? So the gist of the list is that you have 9 heavy war beasts that cost 10 points each. They have a decent def skew because they're all def 14, and on your feat turn they go to 17. None of them can be knocked down, so you can't solve it with that, and they're all flying. And I have a spell that gives them ghostly, so sometimes they ignore free strikes too. And the way it plays is that it's a really strong scenario list until you're like, oh, I guess I'm down on attrition, I'll just kill their caster. And sometimes you just do that because Essence Blast is a dumb spell. So then, after that, the model you targeted is removed from play. In the current way the rules are written, that means I can reave the Fury off of a War Beast I kill with Essence Blast. So an Archidon, which is Fury 3, I reave the 3 Fury I just spent to Essence Blast, and I can do it again. So yeah, that's mostly the gimmick of the list. You're also just a bunch of Def 17 no knockdown Poltergeist models on feat turn. So yeah, I'm excited to show this off. I've had a lot of fun playing this list, and I do think like there are some things that need to be addressed with it, just in terms of how the mechanics of it work, but we'll see how it goes. So I think we're just about ready to hop into the game. So I won the die roll, and I chose to go first. I think this list puts out a lot of pressure if it gets to go first, because you have 9 heavies that run 14 inches up the board, and you get 2 extra inches of deployment, so you start 9 inches, then you go 14 more, so that's a grand total of 23 inches up the board if you need to be or want to be. I choose to stay a little bit back in this particular game because I know Nerfs have a really long threat range, and I don't want to just be giving him free Archidons, because that's kind of what's going to spell the doom for me in this game, because I have to spend more or less my full stack to kill a Nerf because I have to boost a hit. And I probably have to use 2 Archidons to do it. And he's going to stay out of threat range of me the entire game because he has 2 inches extra threat. And if he does kill an Archidon with 1 Nerf, which he can totally do because of Fury and because of auto-hitting when the tail hits, he's just going to sprint away and be out of threat again. So I really need to be careful with these Archidons and make sure I just don't give them up for free to Nerfs. However, I have the distinct advantage in this game of having 9 heavies to your 3.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah. That said, I do have to deal with things like Hellmouths. The Striders are surprisingly scary in this game because they can just remove all of my Beast Handlers with little to no effort. So I have to play a little bit farther back than I normally would with this list, because this list typically wants to go screaming down the table and say, hey, 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 deal with me or you die. So that's us. We're just moving up the table. The way I deploy is very specific with this list because it's basically alternating between 2 war beasts and a beast handler that's going to be base to base with them, so that a lot of my beasts can charge for free on the first turn and get as far as up as they need to, and the rest can just run. It's a great fury management tool when you have more beasts than you have your fury stat on turn 1, and it's something you really need to do with this list. And your Archidons still get 10 inches up the table. We forgot to start the clock when I started my turn, so I just knock about 7 minutes off of my clock. I know it's a little more than I have definitely spent doing this turn, but I want to make sure that I am actually like giving at least the amount of time I've spent doing this. And we do normally, you might have noticed that it was an hour on both sides. We normally deploy off the clock just to save some time for the camera, because deploying is boring to watch.
Yeah. So this turn, I'm just trying to chip away as many Archidons, because I know the wheels come off the card of this list pretty quickly if I take out 2 or 3 of these models. So the idea here is the Helmuths are going to charge in, do some stuff. I want to limit the ability of him to do Essence Blast and run, because if I put things in the way for free strikes, then the Archidons start getting free strikes from Helmuths, which isn't great. It's not a fantastic look for them.
Yeah, so typically with this list, if I'm going for the assassination run, I can I don't care about taking free strikes, because unless you kill an Archidon, it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. So an Archidon has 25 boxes. In order to one-shot an Archidon on a free strike at at armor 16, it's ridiculous. You need to be like POW 27 and roll trip 6s in order to one-shot it. So it can take multiple free strikes and just not care, because if your spirit goes out, you're going to do some shooting here.
The Strider's going, and they're going to just do some work here. So first guy hits, dice off 6.
Pokes it for 3. Second guy hits, pokes it for 3. Doing some pretty good damage considering these Striders are like not meant to be hitting heavies like this. Just crushing the rolls, like keep knocking off damage points. They do a number here. Now, I could have, because of Imperial Warhost giving me hyper-aggressive on all of my war beasts, just hyper-aggressive into melee, made it so that they can't shoot me. But then I'm just giving up an Archidon to a Nerith anyway, so what's the point?
And that was sort of my thinking, is that he probably wouldn't put the thing forward in order to get eaten by a Nerith.
Yep, because again, I'm more likely to survive this shooting that you have that's randomly doing a ton of damage than I am a Nerith that's going to sprint away and be fine.
So I think you have 6 boxes at the end of all this?
I think I have 6 right now. And then, Deathstalkers are shooting, doing minimal damage, taking me down to 4.
And your spirit's crippled.
And my spirit is crippled, which is important. Because that's the farthest up Archidon. It's the one that I was expecting to do work next turn. And now it's probably going to have a harder time. I'm going to have to spend some Fury in order to heal it. Or I'm going to have to get a Beast Handler base to base, which messes with my order of activations because I'd have to move the Zebra Archidon out of the way first. Yeah. It's a rough time.
So apparently POW 10s can do some damage. So the Nerfs are going to put up in a position where if Evan goes in to try to kill my Striders, that I have someone to take it back. Or take the Archidons with, basically.
Yeah, you're shooting with the Seraph now at the same Archidon. Yep. Do 2 points of damage, leave it on 2 boxes, flare it for the next one, and you don't have enough Fury to boost it, so you barely miss because I'm in cover. Striders ignored all of that cover because they have Hunter.
Yes.
Getting pretty aggressive with some Nerfs here.
Yeah, so I recognize there's no way I can stay out of threat range next turn. At least not from anybody I really care about, especially the lead Archidon there. So essentially, I just want you to have to deal with one of them. I plan to put Admonition up on one of my Archidons, or one of my Nerfs, in order to try to make it a problem.
Mm-hmm. I half expected you to put it on the front Nerf as opposed to the back one. But I guess, really, if you put it on the front one, I can kind of just get a janky Archidon run behind you and then prevent you from using it anyway.
Yeah. Or you would have paralyzed the one in the back and killed him instead.
Exactly, because I can charge either of them.
Yeah, so there's not really a lot of good options. There's just a less bad option.
Yeah. Another thing about my list is that I get 3 Kreyas, which people might think, Well, why do you need 3 Force Aura barriers? I don't. I need 3 random guns that make my enemy def 5.
Yeah.
Because that's, like, I use them more for that than I do for Force Aura, because I don't need Force Aura unless I'm going up against a gun-heavy list, which, when I do, they're amazing, because on feat turn I'm def 19. But normally I don't need them, especially against this list. It's just Striders, and I'm not worried about shooting, although maybe I should be, considering how much damage they did to that Arcadon. But
they should have killed it.
So this turn, my plan is mostly based around, like, not feeding, because I think me and Craig both agreed that in this type of matchup where we have super defensive feats and super hard-hitting glass cannon-y lists, that whoever feats first in this situation is typically the person that loses the game. So I'm going to avoid doing that. And my plan, there's the first Kreia going up and paralyzing that front Nerf.
With a roll like that, even if I feed it, it wouldn't have mattered.
Exactly. So that Nerf is basically dead to rights. I have so many Arcadons that can charge it. It's ridiculous. I just have to clear out a single Strider in front, and 2 of them can get in, which is pretty rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so random paralyzed gun, really good. The aspect of the list that I'm going to show off this turn is that I'm going to cast Host of Shadows, which gives everything ghostly, which means my flying Arcadons also ignore free strikes.
Yeah, but I mean, I knew that would happen. I just wanted Mordikaar to do it, basically.
Yeah, forcing me to spend Fury on things that aren't Essence Blast and forcing me to activate earlier in the turn as opposed to later is pretty important. Because if I don't have to do anything, I'm probably just going to kill something that you love with Essence Blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in this turn, I'm planning on killing 2 Hellmouths and a Nerf. So I've already paralyzed the Nerf, so that's step 1. I have Host of Shadows up, or I will in a moment. So I'm going to be able to charge over Hellmouths and get to the big juicy mouth bit and kill that. Big juicy mouth bit. You heard it here first, folks. And then I also have a charge on the back Seraph. I'm not going to charge the Nerf because it has Admo up, but if I could put some damage into the Seraph early with an Arcadon, that's pretty fantastic. And the front Arcadon's just in range to do that, so Mordikaar is going to go. He's going to pay 2 for Host of Shadows. He's going to heal the spirit and the body on the Arcadon that took 1,000,000 Strider shots and was super hurt for some reason. He's just bad at dodging arrows, as it turns out. Beast Handlers already went in the top and enraged everything. Beast Handlers go in the bottom, enrage the rest of the Arcadons. So now the blue one's going to go. It's going to go charge a Hellmouth.
I can't charge it because of...
Sorry, correct. It can't see it, so it has to walk.
Yeah.
But speed 7 is a nice little thing.
Yeah, and you do need 6s here because
I'm attacking over an obstruction.
Yep. So this is a pretty tanky Hellmouth.
I hit with a 7. I'm boosting damage because I lose a die to Impervious Flesh. Does 7 damage. Wish I could have gotten 1 more point in there because I could spend 1 to sprint, but unfortunately I don't. Hit. Can't crit pitch it, unfortunately. Another strong aspect about Arcadon list, every single one of your heavies, your damage dealers, has critical pitch on their main weapon. So you can just get some really janky BS throws sometimes and will like completely mess up what your opponent thought they were going to do. Here I may have made a mistake. I decided, I only need a 4 to kill this Hellmouth. I'll roll the 1 die. Hopefully I'll do a point or 2, and then I'll attack it again and kill it. Or if I roll that 4 up, I'll have a Fury left over to sprint, and I'll do that instead and be safe next turn. Didn't work out. I rolled a 1, and then I was like, well, now I have to boost damage on the next one, so we're staying here. So that's where that Arcadon is. I'm going really hot with Fury this turn, but I feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of it, just because Hellmouths are terrifying, and I hate them, and they completely dictate how I have to play my armies in terms of placement. Like, first turn, I had to hide behind that obstruction with the blue Arcadon so that he couldn't just get pulled into a Hellmouth and die. I had to hide behind the obstruction with the other Arcadon on the top side that just charged into a Seraph. Hit. I crit pitched him. I was debating for a bit there whether or not I wanted to pitch him, but I decided it's worth just getting him back out of position. I only rolled a 1, so he didn't really get back out of position, but I absolutely crushed the damage roll and did like 18 or 17 damage to it. Pretty good.
So one other thing about the Hellmouth that is actually kind of critical here, if you don't host the shadows and you charge over a thing, you do fail the charge when you're pushed via the grip rule. Okay.
That is something I did not know.
Because when you're pushed during a charge, your charge fails.
The more you know. This Archidon charges for free, boosts to hit, kills a Strider, pays for sprint, runs away, is there, ready, and reloaded for next turn. Zebra Archidon is going to now charge for free the Paralyzed Nerf. Paralyzed Nerfs are very sad. They die to basically anything because their only defensive stat is their defense, and their armor sucks. And I'm dice +1 on them. And I'm just going to not boost a hit, which means it dies, and dice +1 on normal rolls. I 3-shot it.
The cool thing about this matchup is that the heavies involved, we don't actually need to worry about memorizing very many numbers.
No, because we have the same defensive stats, and I have 2 less boxes than you. So there's not a whole lot to remember there. I debate just sprinting. Actually, I debated sprinting deeper with this Archidon, and just paying 1 and going behind you and forcing you to deal with him. Instead, I decide, you know what? I'll just try to crit pitch the Naga out, do some damage to it. I missed, and it didn't matter. This Archidon charges for free, boosts to hit, misses. He's just sitting there with a Fury on him. I decide not to buy any more attacks because I realized just how hot on Fury I'm going this turn, and I figured I should hold back a bit, just go for positioning now. So that's exactly what these Archidons next to Mordikaar are doing. They're just kind of moving around, being Archidons. Oh, this one charges for free at a dude. Decide to hard roll it. Miss. Doesn't matter. Cool. Now this Kreia can go and make a Kreia fort for Mordikaar.
To prevent him from getting shot up with arrows. Seems okay.
Yep. I do not want him to get shot up with arrows. And I've tried to engage mostly on the Striders just so they can't shoot or have to take free strikes in order to shoot.
Yep. No, it's true. I'd have to feet and you still need a 10, which isn't great, but it's... I don't love the odds of that, of you not hitting, or of you hitting them. It can happen, and it's bad when it does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think it's my turn now, so I'm going to ambush my Grotesques in.
Yeah, this is something I forget about basically every time I play against Craig in this list. Is God, you have ambushers every time. I don't know how I don't remember this.
So yeah, I'm just going to make sure to go through all of the things I'm doing. So.
Yep. So you apparate.
Yeah, decide whether I'm going to keep a spell.
Apparate happens first, even though you placed the one Grotesque up there just to remind yourself.
Yep. We're going to shove the clock out of the way in a second here. And this turn, I want to just take as many Archidons off the table as I can. So the 2 Archidons in the zone are dead. The one Archidon's on 2 boxes. The one Archidon is in 2 boxes, Zebradon, I think.
Nope, it's the green one that's hiding behind your Seraph.
Okay.
Yeah, he kind of blends in really well with the table, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But he's the one you shot to pieces.
Okay. So he's dead to rights. I have a Forsaken with a jillion dice on him.
Yep.
In a second. There's another Archidon on 3 that I can blow up pretty effectively, too.
Blight Bomb, pretty useful in this list.
Yeah. So, there's a pretty safe bet that I can just kill, all 3 Archidons in front of me. Just for free. So I get a dice. That Archidon with 2 boxes is dead.
Yeah, just obliterate that dice roll.
The other one takes 9, so he's off to a good start. We are just going to debate on what to do. I don't want to use my Nerf to kill one of these guys until I have to, basically.
Yeah, he's kind of the big gun in your list, and you lost the other one, so you kind of have to be pretty reserved with it. Or else I'm just going to swarm it with pterodactyls and it's going to die, and you're going to not be happy.
Yeah, and also I need to be super careful about those paralyzed guns.
Yep. Grotesque's coming on in.
Yep, just going to charge the 2 Archidons that are on the flank. and then one guy just sort of keeps everybody in formation.
Yeah, the one grotesque to the right there on the blue and pink Archidon had to run to just provide gang. But the top ones are going to do some damage to the green and yellow one.
Yep, so I do a pretty decent amount of damage to the green and yellow one. I miss the one attack on the, or don't do enough damage to the other guy. It's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
Also, if I do damage to an Archidon early, then it does become a problem for him to take free strikes.
Yes. Again, I don't care unless you're going to kill it most of the time.
But if I've chipped enough damage away from him from several attacks,
then it starts to be pretty likely that you kill it. Because they're not very robust.
Yeah, so Fyanna's going to charge that dude, that one Archidon there, just to do some damage. I boost a hit, and whiff, and then I just buy an attack and hard roll the damage.
Yeah, you missed the boosted one, but you roll an 11 on 2 dice, so that's fine. It's dice off 4, I believe, to do 4 damage.
Yeah. I just want to chip any damage away from that Archidon that I can, is the idea here. So I'm looking at doing this. I'm going to Fury the one Nerf because I think I kind of have to now. And I am feeding this turn. I recognize that it's probably about the best time for it for me. So we're going to see what we can do here. So we're just going to... just debating on what I need to do here, because I want to do some more damage so I don't have to worry too much about the Archidons with the Nerf killing the Archidon. So my Grotesque Assassin charges in here. No. My Grotesque Assassin charges in here and misses his combo strike. So that was unfortunate, because that would have been a grievous wound.
Yeah, and this guy's pretty damaged already. I believe he has 1 box left in Spirit. So if he had gotten that grievous wounds off, and also maybe a damage roll takes that out, that Archidon's pretty sad.
Yeah, so I mean, I could have just left it alive and just dealt with it later. So I'm looking at what the sorceress can do here. She's pretty fast, and she's cavalry, so she can probably hit these guys. But she's only POW 10, so damage is not going to be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to probably move my scout soon in order to just do something with them.
Something.
This was a misplay. I definitely think I should have shot up some beast handlers, but...
Yeah, that's definitely what I expected you to do. Because they're just out in the wind now.
But I also recognize that the beast handlers probably don't have a huge part to play in this game anymore.
So, at this point, what they normally do is they either wait for Archidons to sprint back and then whip all the fury off them, or they just run to provide free charges.
Yeah. And I mean, like, you can do that, but again, like, this game will not last very many turns, I think. Both of our lists are super fast and super aggressive.
Yes. Yeah, they're also very, like, terrain agnostic, just because of how much they ignore with flight.
Yeah, and Pathfinder. My list has entirely Pathfinder.
Yeah.
So basically, we're just doing some more attrition work on your Archidons here. We're shooting that guy. He's not really up. Knocked over an Archidon.
They're really, really easy to knock over. You've probably seen this several times this game already.
Yeah, so we shoot him with some more Striders. I do a point of damage, and you hyper-aggressive into him.
I'm like, okay, now you have to deal with Def 18 Archidon.
I wisely decide not to shoot him.
Yep.
Because I'm going to need a boxcar.
Uh-huh. Yeah, hyper-aggressive on Speed 7 Heavy War Beasts is really good.
Yep.
Signar really hates it.
So what I'm doing here is I'm attacking with the Naga. So I don't actually boost damage after hitting, because I want to drop his def. And I do actually wind up getting the crit Shadowbind on this. So now he's def 11, which is a much better defensive line for my my Nerf to go in on. So now I want to see if I can flare the other Archidon, because if I can do that, I basically kill both Archidons almost for free. So we're just going to... he does land the hit, and he does a bit of damage. Essentially, he's going to be fairly unhealthy after the shooting. We shoot him up again. Now I need like an 11 or something. Hits, does a bit more damage. And he is flared. So now I can probably just have my Nerf kill both Archidons and fly off somewhere fairly safe. My options for this are basically, I need to hit with my with each of my attacks. So I need 4s and 5s to hit here, which is easy, but it's not guaranteed, which is what I'd actually like it to be. So I feel like I'm going to just walk in there, tail the one guy who has like 5 boxes left, and then beat him to death with my head.
Yeah, this is surprisingly effective just because it's one activation for 2 Archidons. They've both been pretty chipped down, and that's one of the like best parts about your attrition game here is that like you can just do this because your head just destroys them with Fury on you. And the tail auto hitting helps. So you and the tail's dice even too with Fury, so it's not even like giving up that much damage to put it in.
Yeah. So I leave him on 1 box before my last attack, and I'm just like, I'll just buy ahead and kill him. So now he's there, and I'm debating where to put him, and I'm actually going to put him forward, engaging a Kreia, because I saw what the Kreia did to the last last Nerf.
Yeah, this was a move I was not expecting, but I suppose since your feet is up, this is pretty important because otherwise you're just kind of sitting in the middle of the table and I'm like, well, a boosted 14? No, you're def 17 with Fury.
Def 16 with Fury goes up to def 20 while engaged.
Yeah. So assuming since you killed 2 Archidons, you're not engaged, I need a boosted 12.
Yeah.
Which I have 3 cracks at, so it's probably going to happen. And once I kill that last Nerf, I've won the attrition game.
Yeah.
And I think you just kind of bleed pieces from there on out. So this was very, very smart. This Archidon, I believe, also hyper-aggressive off of Deathstalker hitting him.
Yeah, this was a mistake. I could have just not done that and scored a point.
Yeah, because now I am contesting this zone.
Yeah.
Which is not good.
So that was a misplay. So I just charged that Archidon again, just doing chip damage here.
Yep. Cavalry, so you hit, because boosted.
Yeah.
And you do a couple of damage. It's about 10, so the boost helps, because it's dice minus 6.
About 9, so it's dice.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, it's a weak spear. So the Spell Martyr is just going to run somewhere to hopefully be useful later. Essentially, I want to possibly gallows in somebody who's trying to be cagey or something like that.
And the Gobber Chef's just going to run to be a nuisance.
Yep, he will feed the Deathstalker to the Nog if I need it.
So you bunkered up pretty hard this turn, and now I have to deal with my Fury issues. So I have to debate super hard this turn as to where I want to take my chances with Fury. Because I have 2 Archidons, an Archidon on 1, an Archidon on 2, and 2 Archidons on 3 Fury, as well as the Kreia on 3 Fury. I'm completely ignoring the Kreia, because if it frenzies, it's just going to get a boosted and attack it into a Nerf, which it probably misses anyway. I am not worried about that. What I am worried about is where some of these Archidons go if they frenzy. The top right one, top right for me, it would be just the top zone, the yellow one. If he frenzies, he's just hitting some grotesques, so I'm not particularly worried about him, and I don't think his activation will be all that relevant if I take Fury off him. Oh, or maybe I completely changed my mind on that. No, it's the blue one. It's the blue one. If the blue one frenzies, he goes somewhere else, and it doesn't matter. However, I make every single threshold check, and none of my Fury management that I spent, 3 minutes on mattered. So now I'm just like, okay, cool. This is convenient that I just have full activations when I shouldn't, because normally this is the turn 2 or 3 Archidons frenzy, and I have to deal with the repercussions of that. So I'm looking at what I can do. This one Kreia stands and aims. He needs a 14 to hit a Nerf. He's just going to roll it. Nope. Rolls a 10, misses, and I'm like, cool, doesn't matter. I hit my own Kreia in the back, even though he's engaged. Cool. I can't run or charge with a Kreia.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to run or charge anyway because he's full on Fury.
So I now hyper-aggressive to engage the other 2 Kreia.
Dodge, but yeah.
Or dodge, yeah, sorry. I dodge to do the other Kreia, so now I can no longer be paralyzed.
Yeah, so I can't just use the other paralyzed gun and be like, haha! But we're here now. I'm like, cool. So that plan is basically a wash. So I have to either surround and kill that Nerf or just win the game this turn.
Yeah, so,
So having just this many Archidons alive and none of them frenzied was kind of a ridiculous boon this turn. Because I'm basically going to try to just free up the assassination run. Like, I enrage all of my beasts that I can, so they can hit pretty hard. And I see this interesting angle where I can, if I need a 10 to hit, and I need to hit, or else this Naga dodges away. But if I get a crit pitch, and I pitch you at least 3 inches, I hit Fyanna with it.
Yep.
And when casters get crit pitched, like get something crit pitched into them with this list, that's basically their doom. And I rolled trip 6s, so I didn't even need to use my Puppet Master. And I rolled a 6, so I pitch it right on top of Fyanna. Yep. So she's knocked down now.
This game is now officially basically over.
Yeah, this is a rough time. So I Puppet Master the damage roll on the Naga because I can't Puppet Master the collateral damage roll, so it doesn't matter. Fyanna takes 2 points because collateral damage. Woo! Okay. This Arcane buys an attack and boosts on a random dude and kills him. I'm like, great. I'm within 6 inches of Fyanna. I'm full on Fury. Next Arcane buys boosts, just hitting more dudes. It doesn't matter if they die or not, or if they dodge away, or what have you, because I just need to be full on Fury. And if I kill something, cool, I might be able to sprint into an even better position where I hit more stuff with sprays. But at this point, it's about getting Arcanes into position to kill Fyanna.
You have 6 Essence Blasts available to you right now?
So on the board right now, I have 2. I can run 4 more Arcanes in. So I'd have 6 available to me, because that's how many Arcanes I have on the table, and none of them have taken significant enough damage for me to care about free strikes. So this guy charges, kills a dude, pays 1 for sprint, sprints forward, and is like, "Hi, Fyanna, how are you?" These beast handlers go. They're gonna leave the guys engaged by the Nerif behind, and they're gonna whip 2 off of the blue Arcane. So he now has some Fury freed up because he's going to charge and boost to hit a guy, or charge and try to sprint away. Just basically do whatever. He's going to go, wee! You took a free strike from the Sorceress, and it didn't matter because it didn't do enough damage to kill him, and how could it? It's POW 9.
Yeah, only dead matters here.
Only dead matters. So I hit a dude, don't crit, just kill him. And I'm within 6 inches of Fyanna. This guy is going to turn around, boost to hit a Grotesque, hits, kills him, and then I'm just going to pay 1 and sprint away without the gang bonus this time.
Yep.
So now I'm also next to Fyanna with that Arcane, who's also full. And the blue one in the back is just like, cool, take 2 free strikes with Grotesque Raiders that get gang. I don't care.
Yeah, I didn't do enough damage to him earlier for him to care about that.
Yeah, he's just like, cool, I run 14 inches. Because the threat range on this is stupid. It's, I run 14 inches with an Arcane that I've riled for 2, and then it's a spray 6. So if you're within 20 inches, you might just die to this. And here's another fun thing. I don't have to care about control ranges, because everything has Lung Leash.
It's basically just War Machine.
So they can just, they're 28 inches away. So I'm like, cool. Mordikaar walks away. He feats just in case this goes horribly wrong and I need to backpedal. And then I start the sprays. I don't need to boost a hit anymore because you're on the ground. And I boost damage. You transfer it. That's transfer number 1 of your 2 done. I remove the Arcane. I reave the 3 Fury. I spend it immediately to make another spray attack. That's like, maybe it, like, I'm going to roll against the other models because it might be relevant if this goes horribly wrong, but I also get a boosted 12 onto Fyanna, and she takes 11 it's dice even. So she takes 12 damage. Yeah.
So I've transferred both my transfers, and he still has 4 Arcanes left.
Yep, I have 4 more Essence Blasts. I can only boost the damage on 2 more. Yeah, and this is me rolling to hit on a bunch of stuff that isn't Fyanna. I kill the Forsaken, and then I boost damage on Fyanna. It's dice even, does 10. Remove that Arcane. And the last one hits. I have to roll a boosted 4, and I do. And Fyanna unsurprisingly dies. And that's that.
Yeah.
I mean,
takeaways of that game, I guess, don't put Fyanna in your models.
Yeah, so there's a couple of interesting things about this list. And this isn't the first time that this has happened where people screen really hard. And then I'm just like, cool, I crit pitch one of these many things you screened with into your caster. Like, even against, I believe Jason's list with Fyanna was shown off the other week. The one with you lose a die and also Starcrossed. And I played this list into that. And under Starcrossed and Feat, I'm like, the Arcadon boost to hit. He rolls 3 dice, dropping the highest. I rolled 3-2-2 on a Def 10 Warjack and was like, cool. I crit pitched the Warjack into your caster because Starcrossed makes me drop the 3 and a 10 still hits. And he's like, oh, this game is over. And unsurprisingly, it was.
So yeah, basically that. I could have probably had more Fury on at some point too. I didn't need to make those attacks with Fyanna. There were some things I misplayed there, but it's definitely, there are some things that possibly could use some tweaking with the rules, but
yeah, basically Essence Blast just needs to say, hey, you can't reave after you do this, then it's fine. But yeah, the alternative to this list is, or in this situation, is we roll back to when I rolled that Paralyze gun on the Nerif, is I hit that Paralyze, I kill that Nerif on your Feat turn, and then I just win by scenario.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even bother with the Assassination Run, because I'm running the table with however many Archidons at that point. I charge or Seraph, probably kill it.
yeah, it's true. It is damaged.
And then I don't have to worry about Striders, because I now get to use the full effect of my feat when you have no War Beasts.
Yeah. And that's sort of what the whole idea of whoever feats first loses in this situation.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this battle report a lot and maybe learned a thing or two from it. Please let us know if you want to see any other lists like this, or maybe some of the stuff we played at War Machine Weekend. And yeah, that's about it. Follow us on all the social medias, and we will see you next time.